A voluntary interview is a process whereby the police will interview a suspect away from a custody suite and an individual is free to leave the police station at any point. If an individual chooses not to attend a voluntary interview, then the police will need to make a decision as to what steps to take next. They will need to consider whether it is reasonable and proportionate to arrest an individual for the purposes of conducting an interview. And so in some cases, it may well be preferable to attend a voluntary interview. Essentially, there are two ways where the police can choose to interview a suspect. The police can arrest an individual and then interview them at a custody suite where they are not free to leave the police station. Following the interview, they will make a decision as to whether to release that suspect or not. A voluntary interview is an interview at a scheduled date and time where an individual will attend at the police station, be interviewed, and then leave the police station. It is always crucial that individuals being interviewed by the police have a solicitor and take legal advice. I would always advise that an individual has a solicitor for a voluntary police interview. There are a number of different options for legal representation at a voluntary police interview. You could ask the police to organise a duty solicitor for you. This would be free of charge and the duty solicitor would attend at the arranged date and time. Alternatively, you could instruct your own solicitor. This could either be on a legal aid basis or on a privately funded basis. And again, they would attend the interview with you and would be able to liaise with you prior to the interview. When any individual is interviewed by the police, they will be cautioned. The caution is, firstly, you do not have to say anything. However, it may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned something you later rely on. And finally, anything you do say may be given in evidence. Very simply, this means that you aren't required to answer the questions by the police. Often people say no comment or remain in silence. However, if you fail to mention something which may later be raised as a defence, for example, you have an alibi defence, if you don't mention it during the police interview and the matter then proceeds to court, the court may believe your evidence less. And finally, the interview is being recorded, so anything you say can be provided as evidence. After a voluntary interview, a suspect is free to leave the police station. Sometimes the police will choose to take no further action at that stage. However, in the vast majority of cases, the investigation will continue. The police will have further investigative work to undertake, for example, interviewing witnesses in relation to the allegation. The benefit of privately instructing a solicitor for a voluntary interview is that we can meet with you prior to the interview, whether in person or on a remote basis, and discuss the allegation with you. We can request the disclosure from the police, essentially from an evidential basis, and what information the police have in relation to the allegation against you. And we can discuss the strategy for the interview and decide upon that prior to the interview itself. For many clients, this provides a level of reassurance that when they attend at the interview, they know what they are going to be doing. Also, we can consider any defence evidence you may wish to put forward and decide how best to utilise that. Essentially, we can prepare as fully as possible for the interview, which can only be to your benefit. At Olliers, we are frequently instructed by clients who have used the services of the duty solicitor for a voluntary interview, but then wish to deal with the investigation in a much more proactive manner.